Cliche content. Cliche content.
What's up, Packers fans? That's right. It's the depths of the offseason. That means we're reaching down into the bag of cliche content. First installment, the Packers Mount Rushmore, something I get asked about quite a bit throughout my tenure here at CHTV, which I hate, but it's time, people. It's time to throw it down for the record. What is the Packers Mount Rushmore? I'll tell you. Starting with Curly Lambeau, you can't go anywhere else. Curly Lambeau's got to be on the Mount Rushmore of the Green Bay Packers. A shout out to George Whitney Calhoun, who actually made the suggestion to Curly, hey, we should start a football team. But Curly was the coach and the guy who put those teams together. Without Curly and all those early championships and solidifying that foundation, the Packers don't become what they became. He clearly was a little above and beyond the fact that, I think every other part of his life suffered due to his obsession with the Green Bay Packers. And look no further than when he was like, oh, we got to get out there and market the Green Bay Packers to the country, to the world. And he goes on a promo trip to Hawaii with a bunch of players and also Miss USA, who he puts the moves on while he's married, by the way. That's how into the Packers, the idea of growing the Packers, he was. Everything else in his life suffered. It didn't matter. That's what he wanted, and that's what he got. And the Packers are here because of it. So Curly clearly on the Mount Rushmore of the Green Bay Packers. Number two, it's Vince Lombardi, right? Look, there's a sub note here. There's a subtext with Jack Venisi. Lombardi shows up and wins a bunch of championships in the 60s, in no small part to the work that Venisi did as a scout, procurer of talent. There's little doubt that Lombardi is a genius, the master motivator. Clearly, the Packers do not do what they do without him. Venisi laid the groundwork. Shout out to Jack. But Lombardi was the coach, was the guy who not only embodied the Green Bay Packers in the 60s, but the NFL, the entire league. He was on the cover of Time magazine. The fact that, he did not allow his team to stay in segregated hotels down in the South. They were like, you have to do this. And he was like, no, we're just not going to stay there. He transcended football. He transcended Green Bay. He helped put Green Bay back on the map after a decade of the 50s where, let's be honest, they could have folded at any moment. They were so bad. Lombardi re-solidified Green Bay as a powerhouse. Then you go through the 70s, it's terrible. And then you get to Bob Harlan, who absolutely 1 billion% needs to be on the Green Bay Packers Mount Rushmore. Look, there's zero question in my mind that people will talk about all of the players that deserve to be on Mount Rushmore or the coaches. Players especially, though, I get it. They are the lifeblood of the game. You cannot, talk about the Green Bay Packers without the greats like Reggie White or Bart Starr. Pick a guy, Don Hudson, whoever. You get no quarrel with me. I'm 100% on board. But without Bob Harlan, there's no Ron Wolf. Without Ron Wolf, there's no Mike Holmgren. There's no trade for Brett Favre. And there's probably no signing of Reggie White. Those moves are all instrumental setting the groundwork to what the Packers not only became, but still are. And that all happened because Bob Harlan sat there and went, you know what? I understand the way we've been operating hasn't been working. We've interviewed this guy, Ron Wolf, who, don't forget, he was interested and interviewed and was, courted, and they wanted to sign him, but he wasn't going to be given full control. He was still going to have to answer to the board or the executive committee or whatever. And Bob Harlan had the wisdom to say, no, we're going to give this guy control. We have been a dumpster fire. We are going to let this man do his work. And he had the good sense to let the football people do the football and get the out of the way. And we are all sitting here. Cheesehead TV only exists because Bob Harlan made that decision. He is 1,000% on the Packers Mount Rushmore, without a doubt. And look, Harlan Plaza currently has 13 trees. Hopefully soon they'll have 14, maybe 15, 16, because of the groundwork, the foundation that he laid. And then finally, and this will probably be the most controversial, I got to put Mark Murphy on the Mount Rushmore. And I know no one wants to hear it. I get it. But people want to talk about Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers. And I understand it. I get it. I enjoy cheering for those gentlemen. But Mark Murphy came along at a really opportune time. The transition from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers happens on his watch. They go and win a championship. And now they're set to do, hopefully, the same thing, the opening of a new window. But way more important than any of that is the gestation and launching of Titletown, and now the expansion of Titletown in an era where the NFL more and more is all about how do you generate your own revenue that you do not have to share with the rest of the league. Every year we know how much every team makes because of revenue sharing, thanks to the Packers. The fact that their books are open, the fact that they have to show what the league gives them, we know the baseline that every other team is making, thanks to, television, media, etc. Titletown and its expansion is instrumental in not only keeping the Packers viable now, but way, way into the future. And I understand his signing of Brian Gutekunst, Matt LaFleur, and Russ Ball to 5-year extensions. We'll see how that plays out. That will, without question, play into his legacy. But sitting here right now, today, in 2023, we should all be thanking our lucky stars that Mark Murphy was the guy put in charge. Not John Jones, who, by the way, Bob Harlan made that call too. If you don't remember that, go and Google it because it's a very interesting moment in Packers history. But Mark Murphy comes in, keeps that ship rolling and or expanding, and we're all here because of those decisions and because of the fact that they are viable in a league where they don't have a major metropolitan area to draw from. They're not making money hand over fist because they have some local cable network or they have these huge international media rights, unlike some other major players in the league. The Packers are completely, without question, the smallest market, not only in the NFL, but in major sports in general, and they are thriving. They are an international brand, and Mark Murphy is a major, major component of that. All right. So now you can all argue amongst yourselves in the comments. I guarantee I won't read one of them. So have fun. There you go. First installment of Cliche Content right here on Cheesehead TV. Please do me a monster favor. Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV. We are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide.
Cliche content. Cliche content.